Okay, today we're going to talk about line. And there's many different kinds of lines, but line is one of the most crucial parts of our elements in making art because line describes a form. So I showed you we're using pencil, paper, and our subject I'm going to use today is peppers. Okay, so when I talk about a pepper, or whatever subject I'm using, okay, or object, whatever. Anyway, to describe the object, we need to understand line. I'm going to use the green one. I think it might be easier for you to see the green one. Anyway, so our contour, this is one type of line, is a contour line, which is what we're going to work on today. Contour lines describe this is the outside contour, describes the outside edge of our pepper or whatever you're drawing. So let's try that. You just put it over there, or maybe I'll put it up here so I can see it. I don't know. You don't have to see it. You just have to see me drawing it. So I've got the, maybe it might be better if you see it. Anyway, trying to figure this out. Okay, so if I draw the outside edge of this pepper, I'm not going to be jutting around with my pencil. I'm going to be very secure. Sometimes working with a felt pen is better than a pencil because then you have to be sure of your line. So when I do the outside edge, I'm going to do it very slowly because my eye and hand are kind of working together. So this is my outside edge of this pepper. And that includes all the little bumps and curves. And see, can you see it? Yeah. So this would be outside contour. I'm going to use a different color just to show you the difference between outside and inside. So I'm going to grab one of these Conte or chalk. This is a red chalk. Okay, so my inside contour line would be something like this. It's the line describing the inside of the form. Okay, now there's several. There's that one. There's a little one right here. And this one doesn't go all the way. It stops. There's also a little one right here, and there's a tiny one right here. So those are inside contour lines. Okay, now I'll just draw a little arrow here for the outside. Okay, so there's my pepper. Now, I know, don't want to confuse you, but the next one are cross contours, which means lines, they're actually invisible, but they go across an object. If you did a, look at one of those grids, of the globe or whatever, where they have a grid, have a grid around it, that's kind of what a cross contour is. So now I have to take into consideration that this is not straight across. It actually comes up and goes across because that's how you describe a form that is not flat. So it goes up and around, and it comes down here, and then it goes back up. So you can start to get that feel of the volume that we're trying to replicate here. Okay, again, this kind of comes up, and it dips in, and it comes back up, and it goes across there. Now going down towards this way, it's actually going in a different direction. It's actually sort of following the curvature of that pepper. Okay, so there we have cross contours. Now I can keep going across if I like. Like there's actually one here that goes, several ones that go up that way. Okay, and yeah, I think that's pretty good. these would be, this is cross contours. Okay. So you have outside contour, the outside edge, inside, which are the lines describing the inside of your form, usually following the same direction, like because this is vertical, it's following that direction, but in order to give it volume, now I have to do cross contours. So they go across the object, okay? So those lines are very important. Now I want to talk about a gestural line. A gestural line is a very quick line, and it's doing the same thing. It's still describing our form, but in a much different way. We used to call them mad ant drawings. So I'm not going to show you the pepper because I need the space here. So it's going to be very quick. They're only a couple of seconds long, if that. So it's sort of like describing the form and trying to cover the whole area in one thing. It's not describing the volume or anything. It's describing the movement. And gestures are very important for getting, if you're placing something on your paper, so you can kind of see where you're going to place something. And it's sort of, I call it the soul of your drawing. It gives you a place to start. But I'll draw another one. I'll actually use the little green pepper this time, and I'll place it sort of here. Well, if you can see it on there. And I'll do the inside of it. And this sensitive line, you press down where you're absolutely sure that edge is, or the sort of the weight of the object. But as it sort of disappears, that line, you can see where it's really heavy here. Bring it down. Really heavy here, and then it gets lighter as it comes around. And then once we hit the inside, this is very dark. I'm very, letting my hand be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very sensitive to what I see. So if it's there, I'll leave it there. And if I'm not too sure, I'll sort of let it disappear. Now there's another line that comes in here. It disappears. It goes down there. Okay, this one comes back up, around again. There's an inside contour that goes to an outside contour. Again, it sort of disappears. This gets very skinny here. This, because the weight is here, it's going to be quite a heavy line. And then it comes around. And I have another part of the pepper that comes here. There. Okay. There's actually a little indentation in here. And I might do that contour line in there. Okay, so inside contour. This is also very heavy here and here. Okay, and here. All right, and there's a little sort of dimple here. Okay, so this would be very sensitive, which means I am very conscious of the movement and the weight of the object. So that's an important line too. So this is called a sensitive. Sensitive. You watch, I can't spell. Sensitive line. Lines, okay. Now, do with you is sort of, is sort of a rhythmic line, or a line that's subject to emotion, okay? So with an emotional line, you do not have to have, I'm going to actually use charcoal, I think, if I can find my charcoal here. Oh, it's a carbon. Okay, it's a carbon. Carbon and charcoal are very similar. Okay, so with this line, I'm going to be very, I'm not doing the pepper. so much as I'm just expressing my line. I might be even expressing the pepper, so it's not even going to look like a pepper. It's just sort of squiggly lines, sort of like a gesture, but as you can see, I'm adding things to it. I'm making it a little bit heavier in some places like that, and lighter in other places. I guess it's pretty close to a gesture line, but I think of it as being more expressive, you know. Because your line, when you go across and lift up, you can see how much lighter you can get. So it's almost like making music. So you can have these big areas, and then you can have lighter areas. Okay? So there's many other kinds of lines too, but those are sort of the main ones that I think you should sort of investigate and try it yourself. Okay,